Happy Sunday. I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. Let's break down a few setups we're watching this week. So let's get things started here. And what a crazy week it was and has been. And looks like, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, but pretty bullish action here in terms of this last weekly chart bar here on the weekly chart for NQ. Now, it doesn't mean we just rip right back to highs, but what I really like here is when we look at this from a trend perspective, we come down here, we try to push lower. So at one point, what this ends up looking like is a bar like this, and then all of a sudden we rally back, close at our high, hold this potential higher low. So in this series of trend, this is nothing more than us trying to do something like this. So us trying to hold this higher low, come take out this pivot here, and that is the main thing that has me interested here in QQQ, is that strength that we do have here. So keeping a watch here on this move, if we can get that hold of this region right here, and let's pull this up right here, over 19,613 here this week, going to be eyeing long, then targeting up into 2707.25s. So that is the main thesis here on the weekly chart. This is it's strong in the vacuum of one bar. I shouldn't say this is so strong in terms of the overall trend, like a macro picture, because we're coming off of a trend like this. Now, if we got a bar that looked like this, somewhere up in like this region, then that would make much more sense when we're in a trend like this. But regardless, from this one individual bar, very, very nice strength over 19,613. Ideally on Monday, that can hold this region. Looking long, targeting a weekly target of this 2707.25 area. Now, what I don't want to see is for us, especially with premiums this high, is just come back in this range and just put in a weekly bar like this. Similar to this week right here, although it looks big, premiums were so inflated off of this week right here that pretty much both sides of calls and puts got wrecked. So keeping an eye here, I do like this potential higher low here on the weekly, and let's zoom it in even further. So when we zoom it in even further on the daily chart, we're coming down here, and now we're trying to set this potential higher low, nice gap down, or slight gap up, and follow through. We get a tiny little gap here on Friday and then close at or near the highs. Definitely a sign of strength here. Now, if we can open above 19,613, and that would be the weekly trigger, but what else is it? It's also this daily 3-bar play. So if we can get some sort of momentum and continuation here to the upside, I do think we have quite a bit of room higher here. Again, up into 2707.25. Now, from the downside perspective, it's going to be hard for me to short anything off of this strong weekly bar. And really, yes, you can make the claim that if we do have an inside bar like this, there could be some opportunity. Not what I'm going to be chasing. Mainly focusing on longs and less below. Let's say some news comes out over the weekend about tariffs or something like that. Then shorts are valid below 17,748.50. Then would be targeting 16,617.25 on something that could ultimately end up looking like this right here. So wouldn't be out of the blue, but also we need more price data to confirm that. And again, not interested in shorting till below here, with longs on watch over 19,613 here to the upside. The 3 watches this week, and wow, what an incredible day. Missed out really on 6 figures here on Tesla, which is tough to stomach. But nonetheless, I want to break this down, why I'm watching this. Let's go in here to the daily chart, and what ended up happening and why this one's on watch is what's really similar to me just looking at this overall daily chart picture is where we're at here. It's a little bit different from over here, but this is similar to where we base and get a massive run here. We base, now do we get a massive run here? Now it's to be determined, but that was the main thinking here from the long perspective on Friday. Base, open above, breaking out on all time frames, the 4-hour, the hourly, the daily, the weekly trigger, everything lined up into this one spot here for that nice push and move to the upside. And I really do think we come up and tag 300. We have a level If you go into right here, we have a level at 300.64, which hasn't tested. I feel like it wants to test. We get that. That's basically this daily lower high here in this series of trend, right? Just like something like this right here. But if we can get over on Monday, my main watch and something I'm really keeping an eye on is an open above 286.97, a spike down that gets back through open, long into 300.64, weekly chart long up into 338.40. I think this has some potential. It is what I'm going to be watching. We had earnings. We get a follow through from earnings. This is the gap from earnings. Then essentially an inside bar, gap up, an explosive day 3 earnings move here. Such a nice technical setup in terms of where we were breaking out from. Now I'm looking for this breakout to trap any shorts into this move. The sentiment has been terrible on this. If we can get them trapped and then get that momentum to continue to the upside, that main watch 286.97 into that 300 area here on Tesla. Google, one of my favorite types of moves, not per se in like the aspect of where this is happening, but a day 2 earnings move. So we can get this move in a similar day 2 earnings move here. We report earnings, we let the move digest in the day 1, and then looking for that day 2 movement. Why? Because a lot of funds will wait and institutions will wait for the market to digest that first day move, and they'll actually manage their position on that day 2 after earnings. So if we can open above 162.81 here on Google and get a back through open, it would not surprise me at all to get a spike up into 168.27 on a day 2 earnings move. That is going to be my main watch. I'm also open to taking it off of 161.13. But the general thesis behind this is if we can get day 2 strength, finding an entry near the open, let this thing trend, and as people are managing institutions and things are managing their position, let this work in our favor, and we'll get an early entry back through open off of one of these 2 levels here, targeting really this last pivot that we have right here before making the trend structure or the flip and the lower high, right here. So that is going to be on watch. Also to note, not only do we have that on watch here from the daily chart, but if you look at this, the weekly chart also triggered as well. So similarly to QQQ, you would expect this being in the indice and being a mega cap tech that it would do the same. But we're trying to put in that higher low. If we can just get a little spike down on Monday, I think we have room to trade, trigger, and trend higher after confirming this long entry right here. So that is going to be the watch here on Google. One thing I want to note, really big week for earnings. A lot of the mega caps are reporting, so a lot of the premium is going to be very expensive. So something to keep in mind if you are trading mega caps like I do. Now, NVIDIA, similar structure. Now, this one's not that it's real weak, but relative weak in the terms of we didn't break the last week's high. However, on the daily chart, I'm watching this to see if we can get over this base right here. So if we can break out of this range and get some sort of move over 114, which is not far away. It's only a $3 move, and we moved $4.58 today. Watching that, if we can get that move and really get that breakout, similar to that Tesla setup here today. So we're breaking out of a multi-week base, essentially from the end of March here, trying to break out of this base and probably be in the beginning of May potentially for this base to break out and really start getting that trend follow through here to the upside. So that is my watch. First target would be up here into 122 to 124, which is just this last pivot right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what you guys are watching and if you have any video ideas for us to upload in the future. Hope you guys all crush it this week. As always, stay safe and thank you so much.